Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4 on this Thursday. Hello, stranger.
Hello. It's been a long time since we've worked together.
Almost a month.
Yeah, right before your cruise.
I think it was like December 5th.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a month tomorrow.
And then the holiday, and then I did the morning show yesterday, and so I don't know what day it is or what time of the day it is.
Thursday already? Yeah. But the gang's all here. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you as well.
Good holidays?
Happy New Year.
Yes,
Very
Happy New
much
Year
so,
to you too,
yeah.
and everyone else.
Yeah.
So, busy day in the news. Let's get to it. A suspected drunk driver accused of killing an off-duty firefighter is out of jail. You'll hear from his attorney today at 4.
A Wanakee woman apologizes in court today as she is sentenced for her role in a drunk driving crash.
And Nancy Pelosi takes the gavel, where the newly elected Speaker of the House inherits a divided government and a shutdown.
We're going to talk to UW political scientist Barry Burton about that a little later this hour. But let's take a look outside today. The snow is starting to melt. It was mild. These
ice fisher people better be careful out there. Not a lot of ice, open water. And there's going to be more open water because it's going to be even milder. Dana Fulton is in the backyard. It looks pretty right now, but that snow's going away.
It does look pretty right now. You can still see the snow in piles, but on the ground, of course, I was here on New Year's Eve shoveling away as the snow was falling. We already have some clear patches back here on the patio and the snow not piled up on the trees anymore. But overall, a really pleasant day today. Some sunshine for us and still a mostly clear sky. Downtown Madison looks beautiful right now. We had a high of 37 today. It's about a 10-degree jump from average, exactly what we were expecting for this afternoon. Our overnight low a little warmer as well, only in the low 20s. Our Doppler track is going to stay calm. Don't expect any flurries for us this evening, as we're not even expecting any cloud coverage to move on through for us overnight. We're sitting at about 36 right now, so just a degree or two lower, depending on where you're at in central and southern Wisconsin for where our afternoon highs are. Overall, a really pleasant and calm day. Our breeze right now is coming from the southwest, and that warm air is going to continue for us in the single digits for some areas. A little breezier though in Janesville. We're getting about 14 miles per hour. Over the next several hours, of course, our temperatures will drop. We're expecting to be close to about 32 by 10, and then overnight will be in the 20s. Tomorrow, though, plan on being even closer to 40 degrees. It'll be a nice little jump for us as we head into Friday and the weekend. But let's take a look at what's going on the roads right now. We have a live look right now at the Beltline right at University Drive. Good news, both sides seem to be going along just fine. In fact, throughout much of Dane County, we are seeing a lot of green currently. That's always good. 51 northbound at about 57 miles per hour. That's northbound heading away from Stoughton. Over at the 39 northbound side, it's traveling at about 74 miles per hour, and then at the Beltline to the western side of the Beltline, still westbound, cruising along just fine. Janesville, we're also seeing a lot of green. In Jefferson County and near Fort Atkinson, seeing a lot of green. And if we go up north towards Baraboo and Portage, Prairie du Sac, all traveling just fine for you this evening. So the roadways should be clear, not expecting any sort of weather impediments to your travels tonight or for the next few days. A nice trend for us into the weekend. We'll take a closer look at that 10-day in just a few minutes.
Pretty nice stretch for the first week in January.
Absolutely.
Could be a lot worse. All right, Dana, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana. The man accused of driving drunk and killing a Lake Mills fire captain is out on a signature bond today.
28-year-old Samuel Kramers from Columbus appeared in court for the first time this afternoon. Our Rose Schmidt joins us now with the latest. Rose?
That's right. Lake Mills Fire Captain Chris Truman died on New Year's Eve after Monona police say Samuel Kramers crashed into Truman on the Beltline. Kramers appeared in Dane County Court today. Monona police arrested him on tentative charges of operating a vehicle while intoxicated. Captain Truman had stopped on the side of the road to help a woman who lost control of her car. Officers say that's when Kramers hit Truman, who later died of his injuries at the hospital. The judge ordered a $5,000 signature bond for Kramers today.
Note he has strong ties to the community. He doesn't have any kind of history related to this, related to alcohol. I think the conditions that the district attorney's office is asking for is appropriate.
Groups that advocate against drunken driving are pushing for tougher laws in Wisconsin. They say if you plan on drinking, you should call an Uber, Lyft, friend, or a relative. And court records show Kramers does not have any other drunken driving violations. He will appear in court again on March 7th. If he's charged and convicted with driving a vehicle while intoxicated, he could face up to 25 years in prison.
All right, Rose Schmidt reporting live for us. Thank you.
Funeral services for Captain Chris Truman will take place this weekend. They will be held Saturday and Sunday at Lake Mills High School, so the entire community can attend. Visitation will be from 3 to 7 on Saturday, and there will will be a special emergency services flyby at 5 o'clock. And then on Sunday, visitation will be from 2 to 3 p.m. at the high school, with a funeral service starting at 3. A Waunakee woman is sentenced for her role in a drunk driving death in 2017.
Nicole Bruns hit a pedestrian in January of 2017, and Eric Franke has more on this story from the News Center. Eric?
Mark and Susan, this incident happened 2 years ago this month at the intersection of North Randall and Regent Street. 21-year-old Alexandra Ime of Hollandale was hit as she crossed the street. She died weeks later from a blood clot caused by her injuries. And today, the 25-year-old Bruns was sentenced to 3 years in prison, 3 years extended supervision. She had pleaded no contest to charges of homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle in October. 4 other charges she was facing had been dismissed.
I feel terrible guilt always knowing that Alexandra is not here because of me. I don't enjoy things the same, and I don't leave my house much.
None of us are the people we used to be. We're shadows of our former selves, and there is just no end in sight.
Up to 3 years of initial confinement.
Bruns reportedly drove away from the crash scene after striking Alexandra Ime and was arrested a short time later. Bruns had been facing up to 25 years combined prison and extended supervision time. The criminal complaint says her blood alcohol content at the time was nearly twice the legal limit to drive. Mark and Susan.
All right, Eric Franke reporting live for us. Thank you.
You're welcome.
A Madison nightclub is taking the first step to sue the city alder who started a petition to have the club's liquor license revoked. Jeff Scott Olson is representing Visions Nightclub. He sent a statutory notice of claim to Madison Alder Dave Ahrens and City Clerk Maribeth Witzel-Beal today. This is the first step in officially filing a lawsuit. If filed, it will claim libel and slander in the case against Ahrens. The petition to revoke the club's liquor license came after a shooting inside Visions in December where multiple people were injured. News 3 spoke with Ahrens Thursday, who said he has not formally received the notice in the mail. The owner of Visions said staff worked hard to build a reputation as a clean and law-abiding business.
Governor-elect Tony Evers announced more cabinet positions today. Evers named Emily Anderson as Secretary of the Department of Children and Families, State Representative Peter Barca as Secretary of the Department of Revenue. Dawn Krim was picked for Secretary of the Department of Safety and Professional Services, and Senator Caleb Frostman was picked to be the Secretary of the Department of Workforce Development. Evers also picked Andrea Palm to serve as the Secretary of the Wisconsin Department of Health Services. She is a former Obama administration official.
No matter what the issues are that we're trying to resolve as a state and do the work that people elected us to do, is that we want to make sure that our leaders of the agencies connect the dots and working with other agency leaders. All of them together, I believe, are going to be so important to collectively solve the problems that are facing us.
Evers will officially be sworn in as the next governor of Wisconsin next Monday, January 7th.
President Trump just spoke to reporters during a briefing at the White House, but refused to answer any questions. He talked about the need for a border wall and was joined by the Border Patrol Council. The briefing comes on the first day for members of the 116th Congress. A new year begins with a new divided Congress on Capitol Hill. After reclaiming the gavel, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said the 116th Congress must be pioneers of the future. Several new and returning senators were sworn in earlier on the other side of the Capitol. This is the 13th day of the partial government shutdown, so the new Congress must find common ground to reopen federal agencies.
Together, we will let it be known that this House will truly be the people's house.
We need a bicameral, bipartisan compromise solution.
House Democrats still plan to pass bills to reopen the government as one of their first legislative acts. Those bills do not include new funding for the border wall, which is the sticking point for President Trump and Senate Republicans.
And the new Congress is already setting records. The 116th Congress is the most racially diverse and has the most women elected to the House in congressional history. That includes the first Native American Congresswoman, Sharice Davids of Kansas, and Deb Haaland in New Mexico. And the first Muslim Congresswoman, Rashid Tlaib of Michigan, and Ilhan Omar of Minnesota. The House now has 100 congresswomen, the biggest boost of women members since the 1990s.
A Michigan man imprisoned in Moscow has been permitted to meet with the U.S. ambassador to Russia. 48-year-old Paul Whelan is behind bars charged with espionage. Ambassador John Huntsman visited with the former Marine yesterday at a detention facility. Whelan is from Detroit and has been working for an auto parts company since 2017. His family says Whelan was in Moscow for a wedding and is innocent. Whelan's detention has raised speculation that Russia is retaliating for the arrest of a Russian woman in Washington, D.C. on spy charges. What started as a teenage egg-throwing prank has ended in a murder charge for a Houston 14-year-old. Surveillance video captured a crash when the 14-year-old driving an SUV plowed into a pickup truck, killing 45-year-old Sylvia Zavala, who was in Texas visiting her family for the new year. The Harris County Sheriff's Office says the SUV was filled with teenagers who were throwing eggs at other cars. The prank went horribly wrong when the teens claimed a man with a gun chased after them, which is why they blew through the intersection. The driver is in juvenile detention and charged with murder.
It's a tragic story.
Very much so. Still to come tonight at 4, it's the first weekend of the new year. Emmy Fink has details on what's happening around town in Weekend 608.
And it's cookie season time. Find out about the new gluten-free Girl Scout cookies available this year. Welcome back. Earthquakes are a fact of life in California.
But now Los Angeles has a new warning system that could save lives. The Los Angeles mayor made good on a New Year's resolution and unveiled the nation's first early warning app for earthquakes. In a region that gets thousands of tremblers each year, Mayor Eric Garcetti says the app called Shake Alert LA will save lives. It sends a warning when an earthquake of 5.0 or greater hits Los Angeles County so residents can prepare.
Not a question of if, it's a question of when the next big one is going to hit. We know that we live in earthquake country.
The app is based on an early warning system developed by the U.S. Geological Survey. Other countries, including Japan and Mexico, already have similar early warning systems.
There's been a setback in the effort to clean up the Pacific Ocean. Part of the huge floating device created to clean up the area between California and Hawaii broke off. This area is known as the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. The system and its trash it's collected so far are being towed back to shore. The company believes the system will be back in operation later this year.
Last year was a good one for Walt Disney Studios. It had its second biggest year of any at the box office. Disney made more than $7 billion globally in 2018. It's the only studio to ever reach that high of a number. Disney credits hits like Marvel's Black Panther and Avengers Infinity War for the record year. Chipotle is tweaking its menu to fit in with New Year diet trends. It's now offering special lifestyle bowls. The bowls will accommodate popular diets like keto, paleo, and Whole30, which follow very strict rules. The move is part of Chipotle's reinvention as it works to recover from a series of health scares at its restaurants last year.
And it's the start of the Girl Scout cookie season, but you may not have to kick your New Year's resolutions to the curb entirely. The Girl Scouts are starting sales with a new gluten-free caramel chocolate chip cookie. The chewy cookie features semi-sweet chocolates, caramel, and sea salt. The Girl Scouts first introduced gluten-free cookies to their lineup in 2015. Well, stocks tumbled on Wall Street after Apple cut its sales forecast, blaming the Chinese tariffs. The Dow Industrials plunged 660 points, ending the day at 22,686. The NASDAQ Composite Index dropped 202, and the S&P 500 was off 62. Well, it's almost the weekend in the 608 already.
Yeah, the first weekend of the new year. And Emmy Fink is back with us with Weekend 608. Good to see you.
Happy New Year.
Finally, I'm back. It's only been, 3+ weeks, and you were on vacation, and I've just missed you guys. I've missed your faces. It's good to see you guys.
Good to see you. Good to have you back. Happy New Year.
You guys too.
And we're going to start with some family-friendly events this weekend.
Yeah, we have two great family events to kick us off. So the first one is this weekend is the Madison Children's Museum. They're going to host a Madison Kids Gala. It's actually put on by the 2019 Wisconsin gubernatorial inauguration. So the event is going to include activities, music, snacks, and hellos from Governor-elect Tony Evers. It's encouraged to buy tickets in advance because space is limited, and it does take place Saturday morning from 9:30 until noon. Very cool for some kids to kind of get in the political spirit.
With the new governor?
Teachable moment. Yeah,
for sure.
Another great option celebrates our state's great naturalist.
Well, Mr. Aldo Leopold himself. It's Aldo Leopold Day, and it's free Saturday Science Day at the Discovery Building on North Orchard Street. So kids are going to have the chance to identify some different animal tracks, make their own nature journal, or weather instrument. I love this. This goes on Saturday from 10 until 12. Our daughter Leona just loves to go on nature adventures. I give her a little sand pail and we go out. So this is going to be right up her alley.
You're going to be busy on Saturday
then. How old is Leona now?
She's 3.
Oh, so she's right at the perfect age
Oh
for
yeah,
that.
she just loves any adventure.
Oh, that's great. There's some great music this weekend. The Majestic is doing a weekend of nonstop music, right?
They are. I mean, you might as well just camp out there. and it's time for us to switch to the adult entertainment. So Friday, starting at 8 o'clock, is the Wisconsin Bluegrass Fest. And then Saturday, same place, same time, is Wisconsin Punk Fest. So we'll rewind. Friday, Bluegrass Fest. They're going to have Armchair Boogie, Kind Country, and Oak Street Ramblers. And then the next night, the punk lineup shows Direct Hit, The Hussy, and Avenues, just to name a few. So, I mean...
Something for...
Yeah, you said it. Something for everyone.
Not everyone, but a lot of people. The High Noon Saloon will also be busy.
They're having 2 nights of nonstop fun, too. So Saturday at 9 o'clock, they're going to host the Midwest Musicians for their annual Winter Fire Night. So that's and then the next night is a female powerhouse lineup. So we have female singer-songwriter Mackenzie Moore from Roxbury, Madison musician Beth Killey, and the 2018 Madison Alternative Performer of the Year, Karen Wheelock. And they're going to take the stage at 7 o'clock.
Oh, great music this weekend.
Yeah, you know, once you get out of the holiday frenzy, then it's like all music all the time till it starts to get nice out.
Yeah.
So.
You've got a couple of other quick suggestions.
Yeah, just a couple quick mentions. So Saturday night at the Brink Lounge, we're going to welcome Madison's own Grateful Dead tribute band, Lacking Some Direction. And then Sunday night, I know, I love it. Sunday night at the Wilmar Neighborhood Center, they're going to host Madison Scottish Country Dancing from 7:30 until 9:30. Don't worry, no partner needed, no experience needed, and a $2 donation.
There you go.
But if you don't have plans on Sunday night, why not?
Big start to the new year, and this is going to be a big new year for you.
It is going to be a big new year. I can't really hide it much longer.
Yeah, it's time to make a big announcement.
I've tried. My husband Seth and I are expecting our second baby in April.
Congratulations. You've got that glowing thing going on.
Well, that's just some BB cream, but you're so sweet. I love you.
It's going to be a great year.
It sure is. Thank you guys so much.
Really
we'll see you next week.
I love it. I'm not going to let you down.
Okay.
No more vacations for a little bit.
Good. We're all back.
Maybe until April.
You're going to have enough time off in April. All
Thanks,
right,
guys.
and have a great weekend.
You too.
And get this month's Madison Magazine for all the best in the Madison area. And we'll be right back. Take a look at this. We haven't had much snow here. Apparently, it's all fallen in Poland. 3 men managed to get out of a meteorological station in northern Poland. A large snowdrift completely blocked the entrance to the door during the storm today. The 3 men managed to dig their way through the block of snow using ski poles to get them out. You think they're meteorologists. They should know.
I love these videos, especially when they like build little coolers right there in the door. They're so funny.
It gives you perspective. These are perspective placers.
That's a lot of snow.
Oh, Poland.
Today is Thursday, January 3rd. It is National Drinking Straw Day. Marvin Stone received the patent for paper drinking straws in 1888. And as you know, many communities are banning plastic straws. So they now come in stainless steel, glass, I've seen that, and even bamboo.
We had bamboo straws
bamboo.
on the crew. They don't last long. They sort of fall
Really?
apart.
Just
Better
within
than the
one
plastic,
drink?
though.
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I would rather have that.
Yeah, no plastic.
So it is also, of course, the Festival of Sleep Day. It's a celebration of all kinds of sleep. Get it however you can.
And those of us that are fighting this virus,
Yes.
sleep sounds good.
It is going across the newsroom like wildfire. I'm
Oh, my
okay
gosh.
for now.
Well,
I feel like
knock on wood.
I know. I think my days are numbered.
Touch anything.
It's also National Fruitcake Toss Day. It's an opportunity to toss out that much maligned loaf of fruit and chopped nuts right into the trash. A town in Colorado actually has a fruitcake toss on this day. People compete at hurling the dessert as far as they can.
Do you guys like fruitcake?
I love it. I love it. Hurl it on my doorstep. Yeah.
We had a story over Christmas while you were gone. Two elderly women in Minnesota have traded the same fruitcake back and forth every Christmas for 50 years. It's as hard as a rock.
I love it. That's great.
Oh, gosh.
That's great.
Either love it or hate it.
That's right. That's right. The weather, you're either a fan of the snow or you're not. The thing is, by the end of the week, it looks like a lot of it's really going to melt off. We have sunshine today, and our warmer weather is going to stay with us. So we'll take a look at the next 10 days ahead and see when our chance for maybe a little more snow is going to come in. Overall, today was actually pretty pleasant outside for us. If you had a chance to get outside, you probably enjoyed it, actually. I was a little warm taking Penny for a walk earlier. Looking ahead to tomorrow, it's actually going to be even more mild outside for us on Friday. The weekend looks fairly decent. Our cloud coverage builds back in for Sunday, and then our next system is actually going to come in late Sunday. It shouldn't impact much of your Sunday forecast if you have outside time or outside things you need to knock out. But if you can get it done on Saturday, that would be my recommendation because it is going to be so pleasant outside on Saturday. Our Doppler track is nice and quiet. No threat for any more additional snowfall. In fact, right now we're kind of chipping away at the snowfall that's already on the ground with the sun today, with our temperatures climbing into the upper 30s for us. Really a mild forecast. No major fronts sliding on in. Our high pressure down at the southern end of Illinois and Indiana. We're still seeing that southerly flow, that warm air coming through, and it's helping our temperatures stay well above average. In fact, in the last 24 hours, we're about 12 degrees warmer in Madison and in Monroe, about 11 degrees warmer for Janesville and in Mineral Point right now. And throughout the Midwest, that warming trend is just continuing for us. As we watch that warm front slide through, our temperatures, of course, just climbing towards Chicago. Just about a 9-degree warm up in the last 24 hours. A 10-degree warm up, though, for Milwaukee. Rhinelander, about a 14-degree warm up. So quite a jump. Today, we hit a high of about 37 in Madison. Notice much of Wisconsin in the upper 30s for us. Milwaukee close to 40, towards Moline, 44, and then looking into Iowa City, mid-40s. So to start off January this warm, it's a little bit of a jump, not record-breaking, but still warm outside. And of course, as our temperatures climbed close to 40 or in the mid-40s today in Iowa City, we watched our snow depth retract quite a bit through Iowa and into northern Illinois. Throughout much of Wisconsin, though, right now we do still have a little bit of on the ground. But for us in Madison, our amount is decreasing further to the north. They even saw a little bit of a decrease today, but we do still have enough on the ground that we're picking it up. If you think this is a little warm, if we could flash back to what was going on in 2018, a huge drop. New Year's Eve for us in 2018, a huge jump. We only hit a high of about 5 degrees. And then for us this year, we were in the mid-30s. New Year's Day, we were at 2 degrees last year. Today, or this time, of course, at 30. And then looking towards yesterday, we were at 27 for afternoon highs. And then, of course, last year we were at 10 degrees. This year, 12 for us last year, in the upper 30s for us today. So a big jump. If you're wondering, wait a second, why was I so bundled up last year to start off January? There was a big difference in our temperatures. It was quite a bit below average. Well, this time we're a little bit above average for us. Overall, plan on a mostly clear sky for us overnight. Tomorrow will be mostly sunny. Temperatures will climb close to 40 for afternoon highs for Friday and the low 40s for that Wisconsin-Illinois border heading into Saturday. We may see a little bit of fog develop for us, some patchy fog for early Saturday morning, but that breaks apart and leaves by Saturday afternoon. We have sunshine. It's not going to linger around. The fog's not going to linger around for us. Temperatures for Saturday afternoon will be in the mid-40s. It'll be much more pleasant outside. And just continue to watch it grow. Our temperatures become more mild. Looking ahead to Sunday night, though, that's when our next system is going to slide on through. All of that rain entering late Sunday. There may be a little bit of a transition there with some snow and rain showers overnight into Monday, but most of the moisture that comes in for us is going to be rain because our temps will be so much warmer on Monday. We're looking at rain throughout the day on Monday. Some of it may linger overnight into Tuesday, but it's mostly just that one-day event for us. Overnight tonight, we'll fall into the mid-20s with a mostly clear sky. Again, very mild outside. Not much of a breeze, only 8 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow, mostly sunny yet again, and you guessed it, continued mild. About 39 are high for us in Madison, so very close to what we're at today for afternoon highs. Through the next several days, we continue to stay mild. That gets us even into Monday. Again, we may have a little mix early in the morning and then again late at night, though much of the day is going to be rainfall for us. Looking ahead to the rest of next week, temperatures stay above average, and our next system is going to come back in by the end of next week and as we head into the weekend. So do plan overall on a little bit of rain for Monday, but temperature-wise, we are going to stay fairly pleasant outside for the next several days. And of course, if you're not a fan of the rain, know you've got sunshine for tomorrow and Saturday, so that kind of covers everything else. We've got a really nice end to the week.
Break out the grill on Saturday.
Almost, yes.
Yeah, excited. What's it supposed to be this time of year? Like 30,
We should be in the mid to upper 20s.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So quite a jump for us.
All right, well, enjoy it while we can, I guess. All right, thank you,
Thanks,
Dana. Netflix issued a rare safety warning about the risks of the new social media challenge inspired by its hit movie Bird Box.
The R-rated film stars Sandra Bullock. She plays a blindfolded mother fleeing from a sinister force. Jamie Yucas shows us how some people are mimicking the scenes in the movie, often with painful results.
Never, ever take off your blindfold. If you look, you will die. Do you understand?
In Bird Box, Sandra Bullock is tormented by evil creatures that turn anyone who sees them suicidal. She and her children wear blindfolds to make their escape. Blindfolded copycats have now popped up on social media. This woman nearly burns herself on a heater.
Take it slow.
This boy repeatedly crashes into furniture with his tricycle. Ow. And this toddler slams into a wall. Oh. On Wednesday, Netflix tweeted in all caps, "Please do not hurt yourselves with this Bird Box challenge." It also cautioned fans to not end up in the hospital.
Companies are always a little concerned when something takes off that's out of their control.
Rebecca Keegan, senior film editor of The Hollywood Reporter, also believes Netflix senses a marketing opportunity for the movie.
The first time I heard about the quote-unquote Bird Box Challenge was by Netflix warning people about the Bird Box Challenge.
Did you ever think it was going to be anything like this?
The company, famously secretive about its viewership figures, boasted more than 45 million accounts stream Bird Box in its first 7 days. Numbers that can't be independently verified.
Bird Box was released in theaters for only a week before Netflix started streaming it. And although the movie did well in test screenings prior to its release, Keegan says even Netflix has been taken aback by the audience response. Jamie Yucas, CBS News, New York.
So if Netflix's numbers are accurate, 45 million accounts streamed the Bird Box movie.
That would represent 1/3 of Netflix's subscribers. I don't know.
It's the new Tide Pod challenge.
They're not eating detergent pods. Well, a man is on a mission to walk every block in New York City.
We'll join him on his journey as he shares what he's learning along the way. That's when Live at 4 continues.
My God.
downtown Madison on this Thursday afternoon. Still light out. We're making some progress.
We're making some progress. Days are getting longer.
Well, one man has made it its mission to walk every street in New York City.
Thousands of miles and years later, he's almost done. Kenneth Craig recently joined him for a walk and found out what keeps him going.
I'm walking every block in the city.
We caught up with Matt Green on the streets of Queens, doing perhaps what he loves most, walking.
There's something that just feels good about being outside and moving around.
He's been logging upwards of 25 miles a day for nearly 7 years now, with a mission to touch every corner of New York City's 5 boroughs.
I just thought that was such a cool idea of a way to see a place.
He told us his obsession started almost a decade ago, when he gave up his desk job as a civil engineer and packed his bags for a 3,000-mile walk from coast to coast.
I basically had a tent with me, and I would knock on people's doors and just ask if I could camp in their yards.
Not long after that, he started his trek across the Big Apple. And over the past 7 years, he's covered more than 9,000 urban miles, venturing into neighborhoods native New Yorkers may never see.
If you're just walking somewhere and open to seeing what's there and who's there, that it's always going to be a fascinating experience.
His experience has been captured in a new documentary film.
Thank you.
From his interactions with complete strangers,
I'm independently homeless,
to his moments of peace. And all of this on just $15 a day. He couch surfs, living off his savings, donations, and pet sitting money.
Are there any days you wake up and go, what am I doing? Why am I still walking?
I mean, I never, it's such a fulfilling thing to do that I don't have that question like a big picture sense, but there are definitely days when I get up and I just don't feel like going outside.
Green has just a few hundred miles left.
It's just given me nothing to do in my life other than to look around. Only because of that I've realized like how much I've always overlooked in my life before that.
He says his walk is a long, open-ended journey, and he's compelled to just keep going. Kenneth Craig for WISC News 3.
Hope he has some good shoes.
Matt Green originally expected his New York City walk would take about 2.5 years, but so far it's taken 8 years.
And he's not done yet.
He's not done yet. You could do a mini version of that in Madison with all the different neighborhoods in Madison.
It would take you a while as well.
I could quit my job and just take a walk.
Do some pet sitting?
For a couple years.
Well, the Democrats are now in control of the House of Representatives as the government shutdown continues.
What does this mean for Washington politics and the Trump presidency? We'll talk with UW political science professor Barry Burden when Live at 4 continues.
It's the new
No accidents to report right now, which is always a good thing. We're looking at the Beltline right at University Drive, and both lanes seem to be going along just fine, though, of course, as usual, there's a bit of traffic on the eastbound side, still cruising along close to 27 miles per hour. 39 looks okay northbound. Both north and south of Madison. Towards Janesville, seeing a lot of greens. Same goes near Fort Atkinson, and also, of course, near Prairie du Sac, Baraboo, Portage, and the arena area. Overall, things look okay for you on the roads. Drive times this evening from Janesville to the Beltline will take you 27 minutes. From Middleton to Sauk City, 17, and the same goes for downtown to Sun Prairie. So overall, roadways should be fairly smooth if you need to hit the road here soon.
All right, Dana, thank you. A U.S. aviation company has become the first to fly 2 jetpacks close together. Jetpack Aviation took 12 months to prepare for the event in California with the aim of testing the feasibility and safety of future jetpack racing. The packs can reach speeds of up to 200 miles an hour. The 2 pilots managed to stay clear of each other, which is a big milestone in the jetpack industry.
Wow, that is so cool, isn't it?
It's a very cool video indeed. Well, as we mentioned earlier, a new Congress begins today on Capitol Hill with Democrats taking control of the House of Representatives.
The 116th Congress convenes on day 13 of the partial government shutdown. Barry Burton is a professor of political science at UW-Madison. Welcome back to Live at 4. Happy New Year.
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
So this has been a day of a lot of ceremony on Capitol Hill. Tell us about this freshman class. It's one of the biggest ever, right?
Yeah, it took a long time to swear them all in. There were over 100 new members elected to the House. That's about a quarter of the House. It's the largest freshman class since 1992. So a lot of new blood, both Republicans and Democrats, but obviously a new Democratic majority. That's the big news.
And 100 women now in the House of Representatives.
That's right, a record number of women. It's about a quarter of the Congress is female, still below their parity in the electorate, but a record high.
So what will it mean now that we're in the world with a divided Congress?
Well, this was a flip in the House, and that will be meaningful for the Trump administration. Trump had been working with a Republican Congress until today. Now Democrats are in charge. They have promised to take things in a different direction. They're obviously not on board with the border wall that he's interested in funding at the tune of a few $1 billion. They're likely to do some investigating of the Trump administration, so expect some hearings, some subpoenas, in addition to some legislating in, again, a different direction. I think looking for some kind of good government measures in an effort to get the government back open.
So it's going to be a different Washington for the next 2 years at least.
It is. It'll be younger, more conflictual, I think, between the branches. There's going to be a little window here where we'll find out if there's an opportunity for Trump and the Democrats to do some things together, maybe on infrastructure, maybe on criminal justice or some other areas. Beyond that, I think it's all conflict, unfortunately.
Well, what realistically can House Democrats do? What powers will they have to be able to change things?
Not much. And in fact, Trump won't have a lot of power in the Congress either, and that's because of the Senate. There are now going to be 53 Republicans in the Senate, 47 Democrats. You really need 60 votes to do anything there. And so aside from, I think, approving judicial nominees and some other things like that, the Senate will be bogged down. So I think the House will be passing legislation, but it will be in vain because it won't get to Trump's desk. Mitch McConnell has promised not to bring up legislation in the Senate that he thinks Trump would veto. So Trump is likely to resort to doing some things unilaterally. He's been inclined to do that already. Obama did that in the final years of his presidency when he faced a Republican Congress.
So essentially things are going to come to a gridlock.
I think so, yeah. Aside from the investigations and subpoenas, where I think there's going to be some back and forth between the Trump administration and the Democratic House, in terms of legislation, I don't see lots of areas where the two branches will work together. The one exception to that is the budget, which has to get done. We've been in a partial government shutdown now for almost 2 weeks. There'll be some remedy for that, and then actually another budget cycle to be done this summer because the fiscal year wraps up in September.
Never ends.
It's 2019 now. 2020, of course, is a big election year. So how is that going to impact negotiations on this government shutdown? Is it a factor?
It is, and I think you'll feel it more in the Senate than in the House because there's so many Democratic senators who are already running for president. Elizabeth Warren indicated over the weekend, I guess, that she was interested in running. You're going to see Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, Kristen Gillibrand, a variety of Democratic senators who are now going to be posturing on the national stage, not spending as much time in Washington working on legislation. So I think it just gets more difficult as we get closer to the next election cycle.
But with all these freshman representatives, maybe they'll shake things up a little bit.
Maybe, and there are some new rules being adopted in the House today. Some of those are being pushed by these new members who want a more open process and a more bipartisan process. Pelosi has indicated she'd be in favor of that. So there will be some pathways for bipartisan bills that have a lot of sponsors to go very quickly to the floor and be adopted. So again, there may be a few areas, maybe infrastructure spending. I can only think of a couple, maybe sanctions for other countries. There'll be a few places where they work together. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot of conflict.
It's going to be an exciting semester to be teaching political science to UW students.
As usual.
As usual, it always is.
Yes, it always is.
Well, Barry, thanks for being with us today. Happy New Year again.
Yeah, same to you.
Great
Thanks
to
for
see
having
you.
me.
We'll be right back with a final check of your forecast. Kind of mild for this time of year.
Absolutely. So we had about a 10-degree jump today from where we should have been for afternoon highs. Looking ahead to tomorrow, plan on another day with a mostly sunny sky. Highs will be close to 40 for your Friday. I don't think anyone can complain about a Friday in early January where our highs are close to 40 degrees. And then by the weekend, we're expecting to be in the low 40s for afternoon highs. We may have some fog early Saturday morning, but otherwise it really should be a pleasant day for us. Following, of course, all of the snowfall that we saw on New Year's Eve, it's nice to have a little switch in the other direction for us.
This would be a good weekend to go skiing or snowmobiling.
Yes,
take advantage of it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But this is not a January thaw. That's got to come later. We can't get that yet.
we got a little more time before we get to that.
A couple more weeks.
Yes.
All right, Dana. Tomorrow here on Live at 4, Dr. Shyla Mergain will show us how to live with purpose in the new year.
Get 2019 started off right, and we'll have the top animal stories of the week. Plus, we have a big announcement that will be made tomorrow on Lola's Lowdown, so don't miss it. That's coming up tomorrow on Live at 4.